Okay, you are live.
All right, very good, thank you. I'd like to call this meeting of the Akron Vacant Commercial Industrial Building Appeals Board to order. To begin, I'm going to read a short statement here on our procedure. This board hears two types of cases involving particular properties. The first being appeals of notices and orders to comply, and the second being reports of hazardous buildings from the director of the Department of Neighborhood Assistance. Representatives of the city, owners, and other people in control of the property, neighbors, and other interested parties will be recognized and given an opportunity to be heard concerning each particular property involved. Any person appearing today that intends to speak at the hearing on a particular property will be sworn in to attest to the truth of their testimony. Mr. York, can you confirm we'll do that as we go?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Our order presentation will be as follows. First, the city will present a summary of the history of the property. Second, those speaking in favor of the appeal or in favor of rehabilitating the property will be heard. Third, those speaking against the appeal or against rehabilitating the property will be heard. Finally, those in favor will have an opportunity to respond to comments of those against. Okay, with that, our first item on the agenda today is approval of the minutes of June 10th. Members of the board, have we all had a chance to review those?
Yes.
Yes.
Anybody have any corrections to make?
No.
If not, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 10th meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, minutes have been approved from June 10th. Moving on, we have our administrative case hearings. First one today is case number 11-20. The address is 115-119 Ira Avenue. Do we have someone in the city to like give a summary on this?
Mr. Johnson, you're muted.
Unmute, good. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Hello.
we got you now.
Okay, all right. John, do you need to swear me in? Mr. York?
Sorry. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
First case, case number 0011-20, address of 115-119 Ira Avenue. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this building is vacant, dilapidated, has heavy fire damage, and not registered in the VBR program. This deteriorating conditions of this property makes it a public nuisance and a blight and safety hazard on the neighborhood. The wall on the building is partly collapsed in the front of the two-story wall. The two-story appears to be held up by a chain. The building appears to be unsafe and unable to have further inspection.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone here to speak in favor of this? Anyone to speak against? Mr. Johnson, I note that the information say 2 contacts have been made with this owner. How were those contacts? Were they in person, by phone?
Actually 3, 2 in person and 1 by phone.
Okay. Any response to this pending action with your last contact with them?
He seems to would like to save the building but doesn't have the means to do so. Mr. Chairman, this building is in extremely bad condition.
Looks like it.
As I said, the front wall could collapse at any time on the sidewalk. And the fire department has declared that this building should not be entered. Jamie, you want to comment further on that part of it?
Yeah, so
Could I swear you in real quick, Mr. Dixon?
yeah, absolutely.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So I believe the building has two addresses, 115 and 119. 115 is the one that's been partially collapsed. It looks like the roof, the west second story wall, the floor for the second floor and the floor for the first floor are all in the basement of the building. Like Mr. Johnson said, there's that chain going from the back wall to the front wall, trying to stabilize it, and it's blowing out, and it's in danger of collapsing at any time. Then the smaller building right next to it that's attached to it, I believe that's 119, that had a fire in it previously, and all the trusses that were there are heavily fire damaged and dangling from the ceiling. They built a new roof on top of it, but all those trusses are still dangling from the ceiling, and I just feel like it's not safe for anybody to go inside.
Thank you.
Lauren.
All right. Is anyone here to speak in favor or against? Any other people to speak on behalf or against the property? Okay, hearing none. Members, do you have any questions for anyone?
No.
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 Well, it seems like it's in pretty bad shape. Would anyone care to make a motion at this point?
I'd like to make
I
a
would
motion.
make the motion.
Go ahead, Greg.
Okay. With case 0011-20-115-119 Ira Avenue, due to the heavy damage involved and the dilapidated state of the property, I would recommend that we move for demolition of this property.
Unless she's signing in as Paula
Thank
or
you.
Nat.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, it's unanimously in favor of tearing down the building. All right. Do we need a minute or can we move on?
Yeah, can we get a minute? We're trying to get Lauren in here. She just emailed
Oh,
me that she's
excellent.
trying to
Good.
get in. Give us a
Yep.
minute.
Let's do that.
I believe Lauren is in. Am I correct?
She's in.
Okay.
It might just take her a minute to connect the audio.
You're not unmuted, right? You're
I
muted.
just
She's
unmuted
on
myself.
mute right now, but I see her.
Okay. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Whenever you're ready.
Can we see if we can get Miss Alexander's video? All
There
right,
she is.
thank you.
You're on mute too, so if you can do that. All right. Next item on the agenda, we have case number 12-20. And this address is 1272 Newton Street.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0012-20, address of 1272 Newton Street. This building is vacant, dilapidated, police activity, owner's whereabouts unknown, tax delinquent, and not registered in the vacant building registry board. The deteriorated condition of this property makes it a public nuisance, a blight, and safety hazard to the neighborhood. Tax delinquent in the amount of $6,045.71.
Okay. Anyone here to speak in favor of this property? Hearing none, is anyone here to speak against? All right.
Ms.
Just wanna say-
Connor, Ms. Connor, Are you-
Yes, I'm grateful to the opportunity to have this building taken down. As you know,
I'm
let
sorry.
me
can
swear you
state
in
your
real
name
quick,
and
Ms.
address for the
Connor.
record, please?
okay, go ahead.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm grateful to have this building taken out. Hopefully it will be demoed. As you know, Newton Street is a corridor into the neighborhood. So to have this vacant building be there for so long is going to be a great asset to that neighborhood. I appreciate your diligence in taking care of this. Thanks.
Can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Sharon Connor, address is 867 Morning View Avenue, 44305.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, could we, for the record, have Mr. Dixon from the fire department weigh in on this issue?
Absolutely.
So I've been to this property 3 times, tagged it. We've never heard back from anybody from the property. Looks like a little bit of trash around the outside. Windows are all painted over, so we can't see inside. Never been inside, so I can't really attest to the inside of the building at all. But it's definitely been a vacant building for quite a while.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, do we know what the nature of the police activity is?
Broken windows in the
Hang on.
past, broken windows in the past that I know of. I have had some interaction with this building in the past, but as far as anything farther than that, I don't know of.
Well, Brent's on the call.
Oh. I believe Sergeant Botnick might be on the call. He might be able to elaborate more.
Yes, I'm here. Do you need to swear me in first?
Yes, do you have video by any chance, sir?
Let's see here.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So upon pulling my report for 1272 Newton Street, I showed no police response there in the past year.
Okay. Thank you. All right, members of the board, turn it over to you for questions.
No questions.
Okay, if none, would anyone care to make a motion on this one?
I'd like to make a motion on case number 0012 1272 Newton Avenue, due to the in vacant, dilapidated police activity, owners whereabout unknown, tax delinquents, and not registered with the BBR board. Vote to have this building demolished.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, unanimous for demolition. Okay. Do we need a minute or can we move forward?
I'm ready.
Very good. All right, next item is 13-20. The address is 1015 East Talmadge Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, case number 0013-20, address of 1015 East Talmadge Avenue. This building is vacant, heavily damaged, dilapidated, police activity, owner's whereabouts unknown, tax delinquent, secured by the city at one time, and not registered in the VBR. The extremely deteriorated condition of this property is a public nuisance and a blight and safety hazard to the surrounding neighborhood. The owner is in tax delinquent in the amount of $11,034.32. Mr. Chairman, I also would like to add, since this report was made on June 23rd, 2020, we have had contact with the owner, and the owner has registered the property and has had some conversation with Mr. Valley and myself. He had indicated that he would try to get us in the building to do an inspection prior to the meeting, but with the short time limit in which he had to do so, it may not happen. I think either his representative or maybe he may be on this call, and we can possibly, if they're interested in saving the building, we could possibly set up a chance to inspect it and find out what's going on here.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so who is here to represent this property?
This is Attorney Mark Shear, and I'm here with Mr. Ali Lafifard, the owner of the property. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, very good. So good morning. Yeah, Mr. Lafifard has registered the property, and he's looking to actually occupy the property. He's been held up in terms of everything that's been going on lately.
Excuse me.
In terms of getting the property occupied.
Excuse me,
Your question,
Mr.
Mr.
York,
Johnson?
can you swear the representative in, please?
I don't
I'm
need
an
I
attorney,
don't
and
need to
I'm
swear. Yeah, he's the
Okay.
attorney for the owner. He's the attorney for the owner, so I don't need to swear
Okay.
him.
Okay, all right, sorry.
That's okay. So Mr. Lafifard is looking to actually occupy the property by putting a business in there. So that's the plan at this point. Yeah, we're looking to keep that building in operation. It's a decent building. There doesn't seem to be any structural difficulties with the building. I would respectfully disagree with Mr. Johnson's representation that it's dilapidated at all. We're looking forward to move forward in getting the property occupied. I have Mr. Lafifard here. I'll put the camera on him. Ali, what I've said is do you want to swear him in? Since
Sure, I
he's
can do that.
testimony.
Mr. Fard, could you raise your right hand? Do
Yes,
you
sir.
swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Ali, what do you intend to do with the property? Why don't you take the mask down so we can,
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, the property was rented for 17 years, and then I terminate the rent, the lease. Then I want to occupy it. I want to do the cosmetic up front, which I know I should. the building itself solid inside, and I told Mr. Johnson when I talked to him, they're welcome to come and see it, and I'm still saying the same thing.
Thank you, Ali. So just so you know as well, we didn't receive notice on this property until about July 1st. Quite frankly, I've not even had an opportunity to look at the property, to investigate the circumstances, other than having the conversations that I've had with Mr. Laffifard on the telephone. So it seems only appropriate that we'd have a little more time to investigate this and kind of circle the wagons and try to get on the same page with you folks and understand your concerns. We've not even had an opportunity to understand your concerns. So we're looking to do that as well.
Okay. Well, I guess the first concern I'd like to note is the delinquent taxes. I mean, that's a good amount of money that is behind.
Okay, so we'll address that issue. I'll have Mr. Laffifard address that issue.
There was a tax delinquent that I made an agreement with the city of Akron to pay, and the payment was paying every month. And the tax on January was paid. The payment plan was stopped 4 months ago because of the issue that we end up with, this Corona issue. And I'm gonna get those behind payment, which is about 4 months, I believe, pay them and then go back on the schedule that finish the payment. But the current taxes are paid. January taxes was paid full. And then the new taxes is coming, is going to pay on full. There is a payment plan that it was for the back taxes that I was paying on it until 4 months behind, which I'm going to make one check for that short time and then get that back in the current.
And you said city, Ali, you meant the county.
Yes, I mean the city of Akron,
The
town, it's county. Yes, Summit County, exactly.
How long have you owned the property?
Oh, about, I think 18 years, 19 years.
When was the last time it was leased?
There was lease up to I believe 2017 or 18.
Wow. The outside appears to have been neglected. I obviously no idea what the inside looks like, but
I told Mr. Johnson.
You for questions.
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
I asked the members of the board if they have any questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, well then, for the record, anyone here to speak against this property? None.
Actually, Councilman Lombardo has his hand raised.
I think the councilman has his hand raised, Councilman
Okay.
Lombardo.
About that, it's hard to see everybody in one shot here, so.
I was preparing to speak for the property for demolition. So if that's the appropriate time.
Can I swear you in, Mr. Lombardo? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
So I've been in the neighborhood since 1988. So I agree with Mr. Johnson that this building is a public nuisance and it's a blight to the neighborhood. I do not agree with Mr. Ali. It seems to me, I remember this property being a auto parts store within the last, let's just say 20 years. It seems like it was an auto parts store and then it was a mattress warehouse. And it seems to me that it's been vacant for like 7 years. I mean, I walk by it almost every night on a walk, but the conditions of the outside are bad. I can't speak for the inside. So there just needs to be a lot of work to get this building rehabilitated. But, you know, to me, it's just been vacant for so long. I don't see how it was leased up to 2018. But anyhow, thank you.
So just to be clear, you would be in favor of demolition?
I would.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Anyone else to speak against? Mr. Shearer, this is your opportunity then to address those comments.
Very good, thank you. I'll ask Mr. Ali Latifard a question. Mr. Latifard, the councilman indicates that it's been 7 years since the property was leased. Is that accurate?
Well, there was the part that he's talking about, the mattress company was out for some time, but there was two tenants. It was a mattress company and the dealership. The dealership was up to 2017. I'm not 100% sure, but it wasn't that time. Yes, the mattress company was out before that, but there was a two different separate dealership was there.
I would further note that nobody here has presented any kind of photographs or any kind of physical evidence as to the condition of the property. So, you know, people are just making an assertion that the property is in a dilapidated condition or an inappropriate condition, but there's absolutely no proof of that other than people's subjective testimony. Further, I would note that nothing's happened so far with relation to anybody complying with Ohio Revised Code 163, the United States Constitution 5th Amendment, or the Ohio Constitution Section 19, Article 1. As that's not yet occurred, I would hope that the city would refrain from proceeding with any kind of demolition of the property until those things have been complied with. Nothing further from us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Johnson.
we would be glad to provide the attorney and his client with the pictures that we provided to you. We also would be willing to agree to, if the board was okay with it, a 30-day extension for review 30 days from now. But the building must be free of weeds, trash. The broken window must be addressed. The front of the building must be painted. He must, before that 30 days, allow an inspection by myself and the fire department, and also fill out the registration form. We appreciate the check, but the form is also most important, sir.
Mr. Johnson, if I may, is that form available online?
It was mailed to you. You should have it either by now or any day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? I see Mr. Lombardo wishing to speak.
Yes, I just wanted to know, I know there is a dealership, if you're looking at the building to the right or to the east. I know it's the Cedar Auto Group. Is it that dealership that you're talking about that it was leased to? Because they don't park any cars there. So if they're leasing it from you, like I said, there's just no cars there. So it just looks vacant.
I can have Mr. Latifard address that.
Yeah, as I said, it was up to 2017. I didn't say up to now. Up to that time, they had that building was occupied by them, by that company. I don't remember their name, but they're no longer there.
The auto dealership is no longer there?
Yes, sir.
I mean,
as I said, by 2000, yeah, the hours is no longer there.
Okay, because they're like a block, not a block up, but you know, over the driveway. There's a street in between called Piedmont. And so there's a street in between, then there's a dealership. So is that the same dealership that you're talking about, that it was leased to?
No, that dealership is a different, and and off and on, they do park their car on my side. And by the way, as far as the weed, let me, before I forget, I have a company comes every other week going there before this issue of the meeting. They go clean up, cut, and get everything cleaned up every 2 weeks to that property. It's been going on beginning of the summer. That's one issue. The dealership across between on the other side of the street is a separate dealership. They do park their car once in a while in my parking lot, but they're not leasing anything from me.
Okay, we resolve that question. Yeah, I don't, from the photos we have, it just does not look like it's in good shape, but with the conditions that the city added, I guess I'd be okay with a 30-day extension. I would hope that there would also be a plan established moving forward so that, it's not just given, cosmetics. 1 second, please. Sorry about that. Okay. Board, any comments or questions? Well, we've heard the testimony. Anyone care to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion on case number 0013-20, 1015 East Talmadge Avenue. I'd like to give the extension of 30 days and have the issues addressed by Mr. Johnson of the trash, painting, and other conditions. Also an inspection, and hopefully we can have some of those conditions on the outside taken care of before our next meeting, as far as trash and some work done to the painting. And once we get inside and see the inside of the building, we can determine on the total condition of the building.
Very good. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, unanimously granted 30-day extension.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
See you next
Thank
month.
you.
We'll leave the meeting now.
Okay. All right, that concludes the administrative case hearings. We now have review case hearings. The first one being case number 5-19, 509 East Glenwood Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, 509 East Glen Avenue, case number 0005-19. Last review was June 10th, 2020. Complete all exterior and interior repairs and obtain a certification of occupancy. All work has been completed to the City of Akron's satisfaction. The owners have started the process of getting their certification of occupancy. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at this time, the City of Akron requests that the board release this case from any further reviews as long as the property is vacant and the owners keep it registered in the VBR program and keep the property up to code.
Very good. Are the owners here today?
They're showing that they're there somewhere, Anthony.
I believe Mr. Hunt is just now connecting to audio.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Hunt, could I swear you in?
Yes, you can.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Hunt, sounds like you've made some pretty good progress here.
Yes, we've been over there working hard, trying to get everything back right and get everything back up and running.
Okay. Do you have tenants slated to come in yet, or are you still working on that?
Still working on it.
All right. All right, I'll turn it over to members of the board for any questions or comments. Okay, with none, Mr. Hunt, anything else to add?
No, not anything I could think of in a moment. We know what we got to do, so we're just gonna do what we got to do.
Very good. All right, with that, anyone here to speak against? Hearing none.
I think
Anyone? I'm
Mr.
sorry?
Lombardo had his hand up.
Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry. Mr. Lombardo.
Right. This is the building's landmark remodelers on that corner. Is it correct? Is that correct?
One building east, I believe, of the one you're discussing, Mr. Lombardo.
Right, right. It's almost connected to landmark remodelers, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I know which one it was. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like there's been some progress made on rehabilitating that. But I just wanted to ask Mr. Hunt, what would be the plans for that building as far as searching for a tenant, like maybe a little store or something like that?
Yeah, last tenants we had in there, they did refrigerator repair. So we open to anything that's that'll help the community out.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Or against? All right, I would ask members of the board if they care to make a motion.
I'll make a motion for case 0005-19 509 Glenwood Avenue. Given the progress that has been made and the improvements to the property, I'd like to move to release the building from the VBR.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? None opposed? Release is granted. Good luck, Mr. Hunt.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for the good work.
All right, have a good day.
You too. All right, we have, next item on the agenda is 28-19. The address is 149 to 153 West North Street.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, 149, 153 West North Street, case number 0028-19. Last review was March 11th, 2020. Secured the property, obtained the necessary permits and inspections. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, at this time, the city of Akron is satisfied with the condition of this property. At this time, we request that the VBR board release this property from any further reviews. As long as the building is vacant, the owner keeps it clean, secure, up to code, and registered in the VBR program.
Thank you. Do we have the owner or anyone here to speak for this?
Mr. Leslie is somewhere.
I believe Mr.
James Leslie joined the meeting.
Mr. Leslie, do you have video capability? You're muted, by the way.
We're gonna try that.
Mr. Leslie, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get the video going here, but it's not popping up on my computer.
Mr. Chairman, if the board doesn't have an objection, Mr. Leslie could be sworn in and testify. This doesn't seem like it's going to be extremely contentious, considering he's done the repairs.
Okay,
Would you
well,
like to swear him in even though he doesn't have video?
if I can speak for the board, I would say that would be fine.
Mr. Leslie, I'm going to ask you to swear in. I can't see you, but if you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, so, Mr. Leslie, any comments on anything?
No, as you folks know, there's not much progress on the project, but there's, I guess I've been more interested in keeping my business afloat during these times and keeping people employed, and the business was impacted by this, so I guess I'm going to try to put that on the top burner instead of doing this project at this time. But I had not lost interest, and I fully intend to follow through. It just wasn't the time.
Okay, and you've heard the conditions, should the board grant release?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You've heard the conditions that you would continue to be registered if the board does grant you release today?
Absolutely.
Look. All right. Is there anyone? I'm sorry?
The building is secure, and we do keep it maintained on the outside. And I know you know, but the fire department has ruled it a structurally sound building, so.
Right.
I would appreciate the extension, I guess.
Excuse me. Mr. Leslie, can you speak up just a little bit? I'm not sure we're hearing you very good.
What I said was that the building is secured, and we do maintain it and keep the lawn mowed and do the best we can as far as keeping it neat appearing. And the building is a good building, and the fire department has, they verified that when they went through their inspection. It's not a fallen down piece of crap. I mean, it's a decent building. It just needs to be rehabbed. And my intentions are fully the same as they were when I was in front of you 3 months ago, or whatever the date was, because I fully intend to restore this building and make it something that not only I'd be proud of, but the city.
Okay. Thank you for that. Any questions from the members? Anyone here to speak against? All right, with that, we've had a recommendation for release by the city. Anyone care to make a motion?
I will. With respect to case number 0028 19 149 to 153 West North Street, I would stand for a release with the understanding that it will be kept clean, secure, up to code, and registered in the VBR.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Do we have a second?
Second.
And
All in favor?
Aye.
hi.
Opposed? None opposed. Release is granted.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is number 38-19, 917 East Talmadge Avenue.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, 917 East Talmadge Avenue, case number 38-19. Last review, June 10th, 2020. The board ordered the building to be registered with the VBR. The attorney for the property contacted us by phone after the VBR meeting on June 10th, 2020, and I have spoke with him by phone 2 more times since then. The property is now registered. All fees from 2019 and 2020 were satisfied. A lot of work has been done at this location. More still is going on. At this time, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, the City of Akron requests that the VBR board release this property from any further reviews. As long as the building is vacant, the owners must keep the property registered in the VBR program, cleaned and up to code.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Do we have anyone here for the owners today? No, really.
I'm surprised too.
Do you want me to say that?
Go ahead.
Mr. Milarczyk was in the waiting room, but he left.
I got a lot of static there. What was that?
Sorry about that. Mr. Milarczyk was in the waiting room, but he left.
Okay. Well, it sounded like you said somebody was in the waiting room, but there was a problem. I'm still getting a lot.
I believe that was the attorney. He was in the waiting room and he left, according to our facilitator. And he probably, he's an attorney, probably had a case or something.
Okay. Well, anyone to speak against? Anyone else to speak at all? Mr. Lombardo, like you got your hand up. You're muted.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, yeah, this is the former Buckeye Car Wash. I have noticed, again, in my neighborhood, right up the street here, I have noticed there's been work done on the property. I just wanted to ask if anybody was available that, what they would be rehabilitating this building into. I mean, it doesn't have to be knocked down if it's going to be a useful purpose in the neighborhood, but it doesn't sound like anybody's on the call here for speaking on the rehabilitation effort.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that is disappointing because they have not been in attendance very much for any of these. One time that I recall.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Chairman. Yes, as you just indicated, they were at the first meeting and haven't been here since. But as I indicated in my statement, I've had contact with their attorney twice by phone. I've had some discussion with the workers at the location. It looks like their intentions is to rehabilitate the property and put offices in there. That's the conversation I've had.
Okay. And the zoning for that is correct?
That I'm not sure what the zoning is for that. And
For a commercial use district.
it's zoned for commercial use district.
Ordinary use district.
So it sounds like that would be, within those guidelines. But I'm quite sure after all this money that they put into the building that the attorney would make sure of that and or file for a rezoning application.
Okay. Anyone else to speak on this one? Members of the board? Anyone care to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to case number 0038-19, 917 East Talmadge Avenue, that it be released under the conditions of George Johnson, and also to follow the guidelines within the zoning of that neighborhood, that the business that's going there abide by.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? I'm going to say no. So one opposed, property is released. Okay, that concludes the review case hearings. We have a couple of waiver case hearings to go over. The first one is 16-20, and this is 678 North Main Street.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0016-20, address of 678 North Main Street. We have a waiver on this property for demolition.
Okay. Do we have anyone here to speak for the property owner? Anyone here wishing to speak against? Mr. Lombardo, you wish to speak?
Again, I guess I'm sorry, I get confused on, I'm for the demolition of this property.
Okay.
If that's what we are moving towards. I've been by it several times with broken windows and boarded up, and it was burnt. My question is, there was a union hall in the front and it seems like a house in the back. Are we talking demolition of the whole property?
Yes, that's our recommendation, as well as what the owner has signed.
Okay, I would agree with that. It's definitely a public nuisance and blight to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else to speak? For or against? Members of the board, seems pretty straightforward. Anyone care to make a motion?
I will, in the matter of case 0016-20, 678 North Main Street, given that the owner has signed a waiver for demolition, I'd like to make a motion to demolish the building.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we are unanimous in approval there. Looks like the last item on the agenda today is waiver case number 17-20, and this is 703 North Main Street.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, case number 0017-20, address of 703 North Main Street. We also have a signed volunteer waiver on this property as well.
Thank you. Anyone here for this property? Anyone against? Anyone to speak? Councilman Lombardo.
Yes, definitely. I think this is the house. It's a building more of like a Victorian frontage, but I believe there's a hole on one side of the building. So I would definitely agree with demolition of this property. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Anyone else to speak? For or against? Okay, again, board, a straightforward one, I think. Anyone care to move?
With respect to case number 0017-20, 703 North Main Street, in lieu of the signed voluntary waiver, I will move for demolition of the property.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
917.
None
Yes.
opposed. We have unanimous for demo.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Johnson.
I've just been informed that the attorney for 917 Talmadge Avenue is now trying to get into the meeting or maybe in the waiting room.
I am here.
Well, I'm going to go to Mr. York. This one has already been voted on. What, do you have a recommendation? Do we need to open that back up and hear this, or?
I guess for Mr. Munier's edification, it would help him to know that the property was voted on. The board voted 3-1 to release that property from the agenda on the conditions that it be maintained according to code and that it be, that it remain to be registered. So since they voted to remove it, I don't know that there's a whole lot of benefit to go back and open this up. But if you would like to be heard on that, I think it would be a good idea to hear him since he's now here.
Thank you. This is Attorney John Stiles. My apologies. I'm on my partner's computer at this time. So just to update the board, the building has been registered. We did pay the $300 fee for both 2019 and 2020. So that property, at least to our knowledge, is registered. The property has been secured. And at this time, the only thing that the property owner has to complete is to have the electrical in the building repaired. So that property is functional, it's secured, it is registered, and the only thing we have left is electrical. And I believe that should be completed in the next 30 or 60 days.
All right, thank you. Again, this is a bit unusual, being that's already voted on. Is there anything else we need to do, Mr. York?
Well, I suppose as anything that you've just heard, would it change any of your votes?
Negative, not my vote.
No.
No.
No
Okay, then
from me
it
as
sounds like
well.
we don't need to reopen voting. It sounds like the property, Mr. Stiles, is removed from the board's agenda. So your client won't need to come back to any more meeting unless there's some future enforcement action that's necessary. So this one has been removed from the agenda.
Excellent. I will relay that information to him. I really appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other business before the board? Hearing none, then we are adjourned until next time.
Okay.